right, today we're going to be doing a door weather stripping. So I have my front door of the house right here. The reason that we chose this door is actually you can see some light coming through as the door's latched. So the door's all the way latched here, and light's coming through. So that's what we're looking for. We're going to be putting some door weather stripping on the outside of this house. All right, now we're outside of the house. I have my door weather stripping right here. Just purchased at a local hardware store. Some of the tools that we're going to use while we're doing this, a drill to put in all of the screws along the side of the weather stripping, tape measure to measure the door, and then I use a metal cutter or tin snips to cut the metal edges right here. And then the last thing that we're going to do is use a caulk gun with some caulk. If you want to, you can also just purchase one of these smaller ones so that you don't need to use a caulk gun. So we're going to be using this one today. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to measure from the bottom of the door jamb right here all the way up to the top. So this one's 79 inches, and we're going to make that cut. So this is the first piece that we're going to be cutting. I'll lay it down on the ground here. Measure from the end to 79 inches. And then I'll just mark where I'm going to cut. I like to cut from the middle side first and go right in. All right, so now I've cut this to length. When I'm screwing this in, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I put it so that it's making contact consistently from the top all the way down to the bottom. If you push in too hard, it's going to make the door hard to close. However, if I put it out like it is, I'm not really solving any problem. So I just want it making consistent contact throughout the whole thing. A good idea here is to make sure that the deadbolt and the latch are both locked so that you have consistent, or like how the door will be when the door's all the way shut. Get it into place. Grab my drill. Again, light pressure as I put it in right there. And then we're going to screw all the way down. They have pre-made holes for this. Just like that. And each time we're going to make sure that the pressure is, consistent and it's making contact, but not too much. We got the first piece in now. We're going to measure the top and the other side here to get those all in and fitting snug. I usually like to do my sides first and then the top afterwards. All right, the last thing that we're going to do is just caulk right around the edges like this to help create just a perfect seal so that we don't have any air moving through from the outside back to the inside. For that, we're going to take this, we got to snip the edge right here, and then this thing should be available for us to just do a thin bead right along the edge right here. You do not want to do it on this side. I like to cut my edge just like a little angle like this to help me push it right in. Put the edge right like this, up at the top, and just create a bead all the way down. The last tool that we're going to use that I didn't mention before is your finger, just to create a smooth bead all the way down. One thing that I want to mention about caulking, we are going to caulk all three sides of the door. We're going to caulk on this side of the weather stripping, not the weather stripping to the door itself. And then the last thing that I'll say, we use 100% silicone. And at any hardware store, you just got to make sure that it's rated for exterior, one that says door or windows on it. All right, we just got done doing the weather stripping on the outside of the house. First thing I want to check is the door still shuts just fine. The latch works. Everything works that way. And notably, no more light through the edge of the door.